So we're going to get this up and running really quick. We are Team 3, or Dan is the name of the team because 2 of our teammates were named Dan. But also because we built a tool called Dan. And Dan stands for Data Augmentation for an N of 1. So healthcare is full, it's the only way I can make it work, I'm sorry. Healthcare is full of friction and full of miscommunications, and those miscommunications are exacerbated by a lot of aspects in the system, but one particular one we want to pay attention to is some of the results that have happened since the 21st Century Cures Act was passed. Essentially, this piece of legislation required and gave access to patients and providers to their imaging reports, to their radiology reports, basically in real time. And that report is being given to the patient at the exact same time that it is being given to the provider. And it looks like this sometimes.
Oh no. I have degenerative disc disease.
Yeah, so we built a tool to try and help that.
Here is failure to communicate.
Because the reality of the circumstances is patients are not equipped to be able to navigate their medical records without an interpretation device. It's translation services, but not translating between languages, translating from medical jargon to plain English. And we did this by integrating with Canvas, and we essentially, as soon as that report gets uploaded into the EHR, the data from that gets extracted into our mystery machine. And our mystery machine first basically determines whether or not that RAD report has any red flags present within it. If it passes that test, it then moves into our secondary workflow, which has multiple agents sort of acting in unison. And those agents essentially take it through a variety of tasks, such as translation, epidemiological findings, and then also coming up with what's a normal course of care look like for a patient like this. We then send this whole thing into a final boss LLM, which essentially it consolidates all of the results of those independent agents in a way that's actually digestible for the patient, and we format it as a portal message for a patient to be able to send to the patient. And it looks like this. And it pops up, and essentially what we've done, and as you can see on this example that comes through, this was a low back MRI. The first aspect of the message is going to give context around that result. It's going to explain what normal findings are, and then it's going to give epidemiological information about what these types of results look like in asymptomatic populations. It then references guidelines to determine what a normal course of care would look like for conditions like that. It also will take into context age and demographic information from the EHR. And then finally, it sets up that follow-up appointment for a shared decision-making opportunity. Hopefully, turning that negative experience into this.
Oh, this actually doesn't sound too bad. I can't wait to talk to my doctor about it.